Welcome, Dedicated Deep Dive. Today, we're plunging into some really compelling sources. We've got these Hebrew video transcripts. Fascinating stuff. They really illuminate the intricate world of air defense, strategic operation, and, the relentless pursuit of intelligence. Our mission here is to pull out the key nuggets, the important bits about how advanced intel work, those big strategic decisions, and precise execution can completely reshape the battlefield.
Absolutely. And these sources, they do more than just detail tactical wins. They show how this relentless focus on intelligence, sometimes over years, can fundamentally rewrite the rules, how it forces adversaries to rethink their whole strategy. It's really about proactive dismantling, I think, not just reacting to strikes. We'll get into what and the why behind it.
Yeah, because as we get into these transcripts, you'll see, the reality often sounds wilder than any spy thriller.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible.
Oh, yeah.
So let's unpack. Okay, first up, for years before the war, Hezbollah was seriously building up its air defense, making the skies over Lebanon. Well, pretty dangerous for the Israeli Air Force, the IAF. And this threat actually meant very limited IAF flights over Lebanon for a while. Sounds like a real strategic headache.
Oh, it absolutely was. And what's really clear from these sources is Hezbollah saw this air defense array as a central pillar of their military buildup. Like for a whole decade, they were focused on getting the best systems they could possibly get their hands on. They knew the Air Force was the main thing they'd have to deal with.
Right. So facing this dug-in threat on October 8th, the second day of the war, a huge decision. The Air Force commander decides, go in. Sweep the skies of Lebanon. And this wasn't just about, immediate threats popping up. It was bigger. It was about creating this aerial security zone, right? For intel gathering, targeting, all Air Force activity, even if it meant taking risk. How big a deal was that call?
Oh, that decision was absolutely critical. It directly enabled gathering just vast amounts of intelligence, and that intelligence then the bedrock for everything that followed, all the subsequent operations. It turned what might seem like just one tactical move into this really carefully planned strategic offensive, something that was, months in the making in many. It really set the stage.
Okay, so at the heart of this initial push was this place called the Pit. Sounds intense, like the nerve center for this whole counter effort.
Yeah.
Can you maybe elaborate on how bringing together intelligence from every discipline actually worked? Was it just more data or?
Yeah. No, it was much more than just data aggregation. True fusion, you could say. Imagine connecting dots that maybe seemed unrelated before. Signals intelligence, human intelligence, image, all flowing together in real time. The goal was clear. Find, attack, destroy Hezbollah's air defense, everything. Yeah. Missile batteries, radars, even shoulder fires. That integration, that fusion, allowed for just incredible speed and precision. Identifying targets, neutralized, moving from single strikes to really dismantling a whole...
Okay, so connecting that to the bigger picture. Hezbollah's aim with the air defense was shoot down planes, disrupt the IAF, stop missions in Lebanon.
Exact.
And the counter effort then was about hitting target proactively, not waiting for them to pose an immediate threat.
That's right. Proactively addressing the danger all the time.
And the scale you mentioned, it sounds massive.
Yeah. It was enormous. In the northern part of the theater, dozens, maybe hundreds of targets hit in really short time frames. Within just the first few days of the war, deep inside Lebanon, dozens of Hezbollah anti-aircraft missile batteries vanished effectively.
Wow. And that was down to countless hours of meticulous work, hundreds of thousands of man hours.
An incredible amount of work, yes, by a really dedicated group of...
And the result? Almost complete air superiority for the IAF deep inside Lebanon. Minimal fear of being targeted by anti-aircraft.
Which really raises that question of operational necessity, right? The immediate need drove the near-complete destruction of that air defense array, and that completely crippled Hezbollah's capabilities in that domain. It also enabled taking out senior Hezbollah commanders, including air defense commanders. It just fundamentally shifted the balance of power.
Okay, so with that immediate air defense threat largely dealt with, the intelligence focus could shift. It expanded, right, to even riskier target, which brings us to Operation Many Roads, this high-risk raid deep into Masyaf, Syria, led by the Sheldag unit, the elite special forces.
Yes.
This sounds like really pushing the envelope.
It absolutely was. This happened September 9th. And crucially, this was before the Assad regime fell, before Nasrallah was eliminated. Syria was an incredibly dangerous place to operate. And the target, a Syrian air defense and detection system, a very high threat to any forces operating nearby.
And what's striking is that this specific site, it wasn't just Syrian. It was built over years by Iran's Revolutionary Guard, Hezbollah, and the Syrian regime. They'd actually studied past Israeli attacks and designed it specifically to counter them. How did the intel folks even find it, let alone plan against something built to hide?
Well, the planning for many roads was just exceptionally thorough, really in-depth. They maximized the use of the terrain, topography, to get helicopters in and out quickly and safe. The objective was literally to carve a path, as they put it, through what was considered the world's densest area, packed with advanced systems designed specifically to shoot down Israeli helicopters. So the intelligence unit's role was paramount. They were the only source of intel, the only ones making recommendations, constantly managing risk, trying to keep exposure for the personnel as low as humanly possible.
And the execution. It sounds almost like a movie. Shallow fighters getting in quietly, reaching this Iranian site, destroying it with explosives and getting out unharmed. And the kicker is, this site wasn't just any site. It was the only one Iran, Hezbollah, and Syria had at that high level of readiness for production.
Exactly.
So taking it out wasn't just a hit. It removed a key strategic capability. Like you said, taking out their only factory for a critical weapon.
That's a very good analogy. Yes, it wasn't just a setback. It was a systemic disruption of their future plans, their long-term capability.
Okay, so building on these successes, neutralizing air defenses in Lebanon, hitting key infrastructure in Syria, the intelligence unit then faced maybe its most sensitive challenge, Operation Trickster Cat. This one tackled Hezbollah's precision missile project, right? And these were hidden in civilian areas. That sounds incredibly complex.
It truly was. This operation kicked off because Hezbollah was planning to use one of its advanced precision missiles. It was a DR-3 cruise missile known for accuracy, big warhead. They intended to hit a strategic military site in Israel. And the huge challenge, was these things were hidden inside civilian buildings, sometimes near apartments, sometimes in apartments where families.
Wow. So how do you even begin to operate with that level of precision when the adversary deliberately uses civilians as shield? It must require just immense focus.
It absolutely does. There was a special team working 24/7. Soldiers, officers, active duty reservists, working flat out for days. Their job, locate the building with the missile and find the commander of the unit managing it. And according to the sources, the Hezbollah operatives had no clue, no idea they were being tracked, being listened to.
Incredible. And the solution involved extreme accuracy.
Extreme accuracy. The plan went up the chain Air Force commander, then the IDF chief of staff. They approved a strike on the commander's location, but specifically on the first floor of the building. The aim was zero harm to non-combatants.
And there was a time pressure too, right? I read they even saw Hezbollah guys breaking down a wall, getting ready to launch.
They did. That really upped the ante. So within minutes, an airborne drone, which was already up and ready, waiting, was dispatched. A combat bomb was dropped on the building. It completely destroyed the target, the asset, the missile itself, all within hours of that final confirmation. Remarkable speed and precision.
So what's the bigger takeaway from Trickster Cat? What did it achieve overall?
Well, within hours, really, from the launch sites they found to labs, storage facilities, the entire precision project, something Hezbollah had spent years building, it was destroyed. All known precision missiles neutral, some apparently right at the 90th minute, just before they could be launched. This effectively blocked Hezbollah's advanced aerial attack capability. And it seems it even helped pave the way for Nasrallah's eventual in Iran.
So the overall achievement across all these operations, it was pretty significant then. Severely damaging Hezbollah's missile capabilities,
right?
Both their air defenses and their attack missiles.
Yeah, very significant. Preventing dozens of drones potentially from hitting strategic sites belonging to IAF, the IDF, the State of Israel itself. It really does underscore that pivotal role of intelligence.
Yeah, these stories really drive home the dedication of that Air Force intelligence unit.
They do.
Always preparing for the worst, like planes potentially being shot down, but through just meticulous day in, day out work, achieving these phenomenal results.
That's a really crucial point. The intelligence unit isn't just collecting data. They are the sole source for this vital information, for the recommendations that lead to these operations.
So they carry a huge weight: operational success, personal safety.
Absolutely. Ultimately, human lives are on the line. Getting those operators back home safely, the ones behind enemy lines, that's their big. You can sense, reading between the lines of these sources, a profound sense of, pride and satisfaction in being part of a team that handles that kind of pressure.
Wow, that was quite a deep dive. A remarkable look into the strategic thinking, the ingenuity, and just the sheer determination behind these taking out sophisticated air defenses to dismantling those hidden missile projects. It's crystal clear that detailed, proactive intelligence is the absolute backbone of modern military success.
It really is. And looking at these sources, these deep dives, they really underscore how vital it is to not just understand the threat, but to develop genuinely innovative ways to counter it. And always balancing that operational need with the highest possible precision, especially when adversaries embed themselves in civilians. That's the type.
So for you, our dedicated listener, what's the broader takeaway here?
Yeah.
I think beyond the specific military context, these stories show how foresight, that relentless synthesis of information, and frankly, the courage to take calculated risks. These are becoming critical skills in any complex environment, especially when you're dealing with agile, hidden threat. And for your final thoughts, maybe mull over. Considering this trend of adversaries blending military assets right into civilian infrastructure, what are the challenges that just keep evolving for intelligence agencies? How do you minimize civilian harm while still neutralizing these incredibly complex threats? And maybe how will future strategies have to adapt to this reality?